The alien telepath had never met a mind like this before. From the moment it touched the thoughts of the human, a sharp, jagged shock tore through its senses. It had expected fear, confusion, maybe anger. Instead, it found something it could not understand. Raw, chaotic determination. The human's mind was a storm, endless and shifting, yet focused, unyielding. The alien recoiled, trying to pull back, but it was too late. Pieces of its consciousness shattered, and for the first time, it felt true panic. Captain Rylan of the Earth vessel Horizon's Edge did not know it, but the alien's failure to read his mind had just given humanity an edge it had never known it needed. He floated in the command deck, eyes scanning the view screen that displayed a swirling mass of alien ships. The fleet was enormous, black as shadows against the cold light of the nearby stars. Their sensors had picked up the human ship, and now every enemy commander knew it was there. They thought humans were fragile, predictable. They were wrong. On the bridge, Lieutenant Kara tightened her grip on the console. "Sir, they're forming a strike pattern," she said, her voice steady but her eyes betraying her worry. The alien fleet was not just large, it was precise, almost surgical in its movements. Every ship maneuvered in perfect synchronization, as if guided by a single mind. That mind had not yet realized how dangerous the humans truly were. Rylan breathed slowly, centering himself. Years of training, countless missions, and endless simulations had prepared him for this moment. But nothing had prepared him for the raw, unquantifiable force of the human spirit. He glanced at the telepathic alien probe hovering near the bridge, its translucent body shimmering in the light. It had tried to read his thoughts and failed spectacularly. He had felt its intrusion, and he knew it was terrified now. And fear, he realized, was a tool. A weapon. The alien commander, observing from the bridge of the flagship, hissed at its subordinates. "The human mind, it is wrong. Pull back. Retreat." The words came in a mix of clicks and tones, untranslatable to any human language, but the meaning was clear. Panic rippled through the alien formation. Ships shifted, some turning away, others hesitating mid-strike. The human crew noticed, exchanging astonished glances. Kara whispered, "It's working. They don't know how to handle him." Rylan knew he could not waste this advantage. He issued orders with precision, a calmness that belied the storm inside him. "Prepare point defense cannons. Shields to maximum. Deploy drones to intercept small fighters." Each command was executed flawlessly by his crew, a testament to the rigorous training and discipline humans were known for, even when outnumbered 10-1. The alien fleet did not anticipate it, because no one expected humans to be both unpredictable and ruthlessly efficient. Outside, space seemed alive. Streams of light traced the alien ship's movements, a deadly ballet of war machines. And then came the first strike. Human drones darted forward like silver predators, swarming the nearest alien vessels. Explosions lit the void, brief but brilliant, and the alien fleet faltered. They had relied on the telepathic link to coordinate perfectly, but without it, their unity cracked. One by one, small mistakes multiplied. On the human bridge, Rylan allowed himself a faint smile. He had no illusions. This was only the beginning. The aliens would recover, reorganize, and strike again. But for the first time, humans had the upper hand. They were not just survivors. They were hunters. And in this darkness between stars, the humans were ready to show what they were capable of. The telepathic alien, still trembling from the shock of Rylan's mind, drifted away, leaving a trail of panicked signals behind. Its species had never encountered a human capable of such mental resistance. It did not know it yet, but the universe had just changed. And at the heart of that change was one simple, terrifying truth. Humans were unpredictable, unbreakable, and now, unstoppable. Rylan turned back to the view screen. "They'll try again," he said quietly. "And when they do, we'll be ready." The bridge crew exchanged determined looks, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the control panels. Each one knew what was at stake. Each one understood that the future of humanity depended not just on their technology, but on their courage. And far across the void, the alien fleet hesitated, unsure, unprepared, and very afraid. The alien fleet was still reeling from the unexpected shock of the human mind. The telepathic probe, now drifting away from the battle, emitted weak pulses of alarm, trying to warn its commanders. But the humans had already seen the cracks. Ryland's crew worked like a single organism, every movement precise, every action calculated. They were fast, but they were not reckless. They had learned long ago that patience often won where raw power failed. Lieutenant Kara's eyes never left her console. "Sir, the aliens are trying to reorganize. They're sending a fast strike team around our flank," she said, her fingers dancing over the controls. The incoming ships moved like shadows in the void, silent but deadly. Ryland stood, gripping the railing of the bridge. "We're not going to let them surround us. Activate the decoy drones. Draw them in." His voice was calm, but every syllable carried authority. The crew knew that he didn't just command, they followed him because they trusted him. And humans, unlike the aliens, could act unpredictably, using cunning as much as strength. Outside, the decoy drones shot forward, small but fast, reflecting the faint light of distant stars. They were designed to mimic the human ship's signature, making the aliens believe they were attacking the horizon's edge itself. The alien strike team took the bait almost immediately. They turned sharply, their massive forms moving faster than expected for ships of their size. Ryland watched carefully. "Hold fire, wait for my mark." His mind raced, calculating angles, velocities, and timing down to the second. Every human on the bridge felt it, the same quiet anticipation that preceded every great victory. The first alien ship fired. A beam of searing energy tore through space, narrowly missing one of the decoy drones. The drones split, evading in perfect synchronization. Then, at Ryland's signal, the real attack began. Human drones, hidden behind the larger ship, surged forward like a sudden wave. The decoys turned again, leading the alien strike team right into the trap. Explosions erupted in the void, brilliant and deadly. Alien ships twisted and turned, trying to escape, but the humans had calculated every possible move. Within moments, several ships had been destroyed, and others were retreating in confusion. The humans did not celebrate. There was no time. They could not afford overconfidence. Kara looked up, eyes wide. "Sir, they're regrouping. Another wave is coming, and it's bigger than the first." Ryland nodded. "Let them come. This time, we'll be ready for everything." He moved to the tactical console, analyzing the enemy's formation. Something in the alien patterns was familiar, but it wasn't just tactics. It was fear. They had underestimated humans, and fear was now guiding their moves. Far from the human ship, the alien commanders hissed and clicked, frustrated by their inability to coordinate. Their telepaths were panicked. One had attempted to read another human nearby, only to feel the same shattering shock that Ryland had given the first. It spread fear among them, and fear among a telepathic species was a dangerous weapon against themselves. On the horizon's edge, a low rumble shook the hull. Small alien fighters had broken through the outer defenses, weaving through space like angry hornets. Ryland's voice cut through the tension. "Point defense turrets, engage. Target the small fighters first. Let's see how fast they really are." The human turrets sprang to life, firing with perfect timing. Alien fighters were destroyed one after another, their attempts to flank the humans failing spectacularly. Kara smiled briefly, but it was gone in an instant. She knew the war was far from over. Ryland's mind wandered for a fraction of a second. He thought about Earth, its cities, its people, its fragile yet stubborn spirit. Humanity had survived countless threats before, but none like this. And yet, he realized, this was why they were dangerous. The humans had something the aliens would never understand: the refusal to break, no matter the odds. The next wave approached. This time, it wasn't just small fighters. Massive cruisers moved forward, shields glowing ominously in the starlight. They had learned, adapting from their earlier mistakes, but adaptation was slow. Humans were faster at learning in moments like these. Rylan issued orders quickly, each crew member executing them without hesitation. The battle was about to become much more dangerous, but for the first time, the humans had hope. Then, a new sound reached Rylan, not from the speakers, not from the consoles, but from inside his mind. A faint whisper, alien in tone, desperate and broken. He realized it was the telepathic probe again, trying to communicate, trying to warn him of something bigger. His brow furrowed. Whatever it was coming. And the humans would need more than cunning drones or clever tactics to survive what the aliens had planned next. Rylan straightened. All stations, prepare for full engagement. We've held them off once. We'll hold them off again. And this time, he let the pause hang, letting the weight of his words sink into the crew. We show them exactly why humans are not to be underestimated. Outside, the stars were cold, indifferent. The alien fleet, massive and terrifying, advanced relentlessly. But for the first time, the humans were not just defending, they were shaping the battle. And in the silent vacuum of space, a simple truth began to emerge. Fear could be contagious, and humans had just become the most infectious virus the galaxy had ever seen. The alien fleet pulsed forward, massive ships cutting through the void like living predators. Their formations were tighter now, more aggressive. They had learned from their previous failures, and their telepaths were desperate to control the chaos. Yet even as they advanced, a single thought haunted every alien mind. The humans were different. Terrifyingly different. Captain Rylan stood at the bridge of the horizon's edge, his hands resting lightly on the command rail. His eyes scanned the approaching fleet, noting every movement, every flicker of light. To anyone else, the alien armada would have been overwhelming. But humans saw patterns in chaos, opportunities in the impossible. And Rylan's mind was a storm no alien had ever weathered. Lieutenant Kara's fingers flew over the tactical controls. "Sir, their telepaths are trying again. They're targeting the crew, direct psychic attack," she said. Her voice trembled slightly, betraying her unease, but her hands did not falter. Rylan's jaw tightened. "Hold steady. Do not let them touch your minds. Focus on what's real. Weapons, shields, maneuvers." He could feel the subtle tremors in the air, the faint vibrations of alien psionic energy brushing against the hull. Humans were vulnerable to telepathy, but only if they allowed it. And humans rarely did. Outside, the first psychic wave hit. Crew members on the bridge staggered slightly, faces twisting with momentary pain as alien thoughts tried to invade their minds. But Rylan's mental defenses held. He closed his eyes briefly, centering himself, allowing the chaos to pass. And then he struck. "Fire all cannons. Target the center of their formation. Timing, precise." His voice was calm, commanding. The humans had trained for this. Even under psychic assault, their coordination was flawless. Energy beams shot forward, ripping into the alien fleet. Ships twisted and flared, their shields straining against the concentrated strikes. The alien telepaths recoiled, confused. Every time they tried to invade a human mind, the humans fought back in ways they could not predict. A pulse of resistance, sharp and precise, ricocheted through the alien network. Panic spread like wildfire. This was not supposed to happen. They had faced countless species, and none had fought their minds. None had survived unbroken. Rylan turned to Kara. "Prepare the drones for the next wave. Use decoys to draw their flankers into the kill zone." She nodded, her face pale but determined. The crew understood the stakes. Every human aboard knew that retreat was not an option. Failure was not an option. The alien flankers took the bait. Drones, small and agile, darted into open space, reflecting the horizon's edge's signature. The alien ships charged, intent on destroying the decoys. But they had miscalculated. Human turrets opened fire, cutting through the lead ships with deadly precision. The void erupted in light and flame, but the humans maintained control. Rylan's mind raced, calculating angles and trajectories in real time. Adjust shields to full rear coverage. Divert power from engines to weapons. The bridge responded instantly, every crew member a vital part of the machine. The humans were not just fighting, they were dominating through intelligence, timing, and sheer will. Suddenly, a massive alien cruiser broke away from the formation, targeting the horizon's edge directly. It moved like a juggernaut, its energy cannons glowing with deadly intent. The crew tensed. Kara's fingers hovered over the fire controls, ready to respond. Ryland studied the cruiser, then leaned forward. We don't just defend. We hit back. Launch all heavy drones. Target that ship's rear engines. Make them regret underestimating us. The drones surged like a metallic wave, moving faster than any alien could anticipate. Explosions tore through the cruiser's hull, ripping apart shields and sending fragments scattering into space. The alien ship faltered, unable to maintain formation. Ryland allowed himself the smallest smile. Humans were not meant to be predictable, and that unpredictability was their deadliest weapon. But victory was never complete. From the edge of the battle, a signal flashed, rapid, complex, alien in design. Ryland recognized it instantly. The aliens were calling reinforcements. They had learned, adapted, and were not done. More ships would arrive, larger and more dangerous. And they would come for humanity with a vengeance. Ryland's eyes narrowed. Prepare for the next wave. They think they can overwhelm us with numbers, but numbers do not win wars, courage and cunning do. His crew tightened their grips on controls, faces set with grim determination. They were ready to fight again, to prove that humans were not just another species to be conquered. As the stars shimmered coldly beyond the viewport, Ryland felt it again, a whisper in the back of his mind, alien and desperate. The telepathic probe had sent a warning. Something larger, something worse, was approaching. But for the first time, Ryland did not fear. Humans had survived impossible odds before. They would do it again. And when the aliens learned the full extent of human resilience, it would not just shock them, it would break them. Outside, the alien fleet adjusted, sending a new wave of ships surging forward. But for the humans aboard the horizon's edge, it was no longer just a battle. It was a message. Fear the human mind, fear human cunning, and never, ever underestimate the human spirit. The new wave of alien ships arrived like a storm, larger and faster than before. Each vessel glimmered with unfamiliar energy, shields pulsing with an eerie green light. They moved with deadly coordination, and Ryland could sense that this time, the aliens had learned from their mistakes. They were more cautious, more relentless, and their telepath seemed sharper, more focused. Captain Ryland stood at the bridge of the horizon's edge, his eyes narrowing as he watched the approaching threat. "They're trying to intimidate us," he said quietly, almost to himself. "But humans do not break under fear." Lieutenant Kara tapped her console furiously. "Sir, they're deploying something huge. I can't get a full scan yet. It's like a shadow within the fleet, moving independently." Ryland's stomach tightened, but he did not let it show. "Focus on what we can control. Shields to maximum, all weapons online. Prepare the drones, but keep them hidden. We bait them again." The alien formation advanced, and from its center emerged a massive ship unlike any Ryland had seen. It was sleek, black, and terrifyingly fast. Its hull seemed to absorb light, creating a void around it, as if it were a hole in space itself. Sensors struggled to read it, signals bouncing back unpredictably. Even the telepathic probe emitted weak pulses of warning. Something about this ship was different, intelligent, calculated, and deadly. Kara swallowed hard. "Sir, they're targeting us directly. All energy readings show it's focusing on our shields. If it hits, we could lose the bridge." Ryland clenched his jaw. "Then we make sure it doesn't hit. Point defense turrets, focus on intercepting incoming fire. Keep our shields strong, and watch for openings." He stepped closer to the tactical console, eyes scanning every angle of the enemy formation. "They think raw firepower will overwhelm us. They don't know humans can fight chaos. Outside, the massive ship unleashed its first attack. A beam of energy, wider than the horizon's edge, ripped through space, scorching asteroids and tearing through decoy drones. The bridge shook with the force, alarms blaring. Human turrets fired back, but the beam adjusted mid-flight, shifting like it had a mind of its own. Ryland's fingers flew over the controls. Deploy the evasive drones. Draw it off balance. Then we strike. The smaller drones surged forward, darting unpredictably. The alien ship followed, calculating every move, but it was slower to adapt than the humans anticipated. One misstep, and the drones exploited it, hitting weak points in the ship's rear thrusters. Kara's eyes widened. It's working. We're damaging it. Ryland nodded, a small spark of satisfaction in his eyes. Good. Keep pressure. Don't let them regain control. Even as they fought, the telepathic probe sent another warning, sharper and more urgent. The aliens were not done yet. Behind the massive ship, more smaller vessels streamed forward. They were like shadows, weaving through space with terrifying speed, targeting the human ship's engines and weapon arrays. Ryland took a deep breath. All hands, stay focused. This is a fight of wits, not just firepower. Anticipate, adapt, survive. That's what makes humans dangerous. The smaller alien vessels attacked in perfect synchronization, but human precision was better. Drones intercepted most attacks, shields absorbed the rest, and turrets responded with lethal accuracy. One by one, the alien ships faltered, their formation breaking under pressure. The massive ship roared in response, discharging waves of energy that shook the horizon's edge to its core. Ryland's mind worked furiously. He calculated the angle of the next strike, predicting the alien ship's path. Prepare for full frontal assault. We hit its engines again, but this time, precision strike on the core. The crew held their breath as heavy drones surged forward, flying between bursts of alien energy. Every shot was calculated, every move timed to perfection. The massive ship twisted and groaned under the assault, shields failing in sections. Then, with a shudder that rattled the human vessel, the alien ship's engine core erupted in brilliant light. Outside, fragments of the massive ship scattered into the void. Some drifted harmlessly, others burned in streaks of fire. The remaining alien vessels wavered, unsure how to react. Fear rippled through their ranks, a rare, paralyzing fear. Kara exhaled, trembling. Sir, we did it. They're retreating. Ryland allowed himself a rare smile, but it was brief. This is only the beginning. They will come again, stronger, smarter. But remember this, humans do not break. And we do not run. The telepathic probe floated silently near the wreckage, sending weak, distorted signals. Even it seemed to understand that something fundamental had changed. Humans were not just fighters, they were unpredictable, unbreakable, and terrifying in ways the aliens could not comprehend. As the stars stretched endlessly beyond the viewport, Ryland turned to his crew. We've survived this wave. But the war is not over. Stay sharp. Stay ready. And when they return, we make sure they regret ever thinking they could touch us. In the cold silence of space, the alien fleet faltered, unsure, disorganized, and for the first time, afraid of one species, humans. The alien fleet had retreated, but their shadow still hung over the horizon's edge. Captain Ryland knew better than to assume victory. These were not ordinary enemies, they were intelligent, ruthless, and relentless. And now, they were planning something worse. Lieutenant Kara's fingers hovered over the tactical console. Sir, sensors are detecting a massive energy buildup. It's unlike anything we've faced before. Could be a weapon. Or a trap. Ryland's jaw tightened. Then we treat it as both. Keep shields at maximum and prepare all drones for immediate deployment. Stay sharp, every second counts. Outside, space shimmered with alien energy. The fleet was regrouping, and at the center, a single, enormous ship began to glow. Its hull pulsed with deep, violet light, casting long shadows across the smaller vessels surrounding it. This was no ordinary ship. It radiated power, a terrifying pulse that made human sensors struggle to read its true scale. Kara swallowed, her voice quiet. "Sir, that ship, it's like it's alive. The energy, it's growing faster." Ryland studied the viewscreen, mind working 100 steps ahead. "They're trying to intimidate us. But humans do not break. We will survive this." He took a deep breath, feeling the familiar surge of determination that had carried humanity through impossible odds before. The massive ship fired its first volley. Energy beams streaked through the void, slicing past decoy drones and striking distant asteroids, igniting small explosions that lit the darkness. The smaller alien vessels surged forward, attempting to flank the horizon's edge, but human drones were already in position, intercepting them with precision. Ryland's eyes narrowed. "Focus fire on the smaller ships. Let the big one overextend. Keep it busy while we exploit its weaknesses." The alien flagship pulsed again, and this time, the effect was immediate. The horizon's edge shuddered as a massive wave of energy hit the shields. Panels sparked, and the hull groaned under the pressure. Crew members staggered, bracing themselves as alarms blared. Kara's voice trembled, but she did not falter. "Shields holding, but for how long? If it hits again, we could lose." "Focus," Ryland interrupted. "We adapt, we fight, we survive. That's what humans do." The crew responded, moving with the practiced efficiency of warriors who had faced impossible odds before. Drones swarmed the smaller alien ships, intercepting missiles and energy blasts. Turrets fired in rapid, deadly arcs, each shot hitting with unerring accuracy. Even under psychic pressure, humans could fight. And Ryland's mind remained untouchable. The alien flagship fired again, this time adjusting mid-flight, trying to anticipate human maneuvers. The energy wave tore through space, narrowly missing the horizon's edge. The human ship rocked violently, but the crew held steady. Ryland knew they needed a counterattack, something unexpected. "Prepare the heavy drones for a full strike. Target the energy core on that flagship. Timing must be perfect." Kara's fingers flew over the controls. "Drones deployed. Ready to engage on your mark." The horizon's edge surged forward, and the drones followed, weaving between deadly energy blasts. The massive ship twisted, trying to shake them off, but the humans were faster, more unpredictable. One by one, the drones reached the core, releasing concentrated payloads designed to disrupt alien energy systems. A massive explosion erupted from the flagship. Violet light flared, brighter than 1,000 stars. The shockwave rocked the horizon's edge, but the humans remained focused, steady, unbroken. Outside, smaller alien ships faltered. Confusion spread through the ranks. The telepathic probe floated near the wreckage, sending weak, distorted signals of alarm. Humans were no longer just surviving, they were dominating, shaping the battle with intelligence and courage. Ryland's eyes met Kara's. "This is far from over," he said. "They will regroup. They will come back stronger. But they will never break us. They will never know what we are capable of until it's too late." The stars stretched endlessly beyond the viewport, indifferent to the struggle. But humanity was not indifferent. Humans fought not just to survive, they fought to show that courage, determination, and ingenuity could defy any odds. And in the cold void of space, the alien fleet was learning a terrifying lesson. Humans could not be controlled, predicted, or defeated easily. Ryland turned to his crew. "Prepare for the next wave. We've proven something today. They fear us. And fear can be just as powerful as firepower." Outside, the alien flagship flickered in and out of sensor readings, damaged but not destroyed. Its presence alone was enough to terrify, yet humans had endured. And in that endurance, in that refusal to bow, they had carved the first victory of many to come. The void trembled with energy as the alien fleet reorganized. This time, there was no hesitation, no faltering. Every ship, every telepath, every weapon moved as a single, terrifying organism. They had learned from their previous failures. They were smarter, faster, and more dangerous. And at the center of it all, the massive flagship pulsed like a living heart, preparing something humanity had never faced. Captain Ryland's eyes scanned the view screen, unwavering. "This is it," he said quietly. "Whatever they've been saving, it's coming for us." Lieutenant Kara's hands shook slightly as she tapped her console. "Sir, readings are off the charts. The flagship, it's building a weapon. Not just energy, it's something bigger. Something that could destroy planets." Ryland's jaw tightened. "Then we stop it before it fires. All stations, prepare for full engagement. Focus on precision, timing, and improvisation. They're expecting predictability. Let's give them chaos instead." Outside, the flagship's energy pulse intensified, radiating a violet glow that lit every alien ship around it. Space itself seemed to hum under the pressure. The smaller alien vessels surged forward, now coordinated like a deadly wave, intent on overwhelming the human ship. "Incoming strike!" Kara shouted. Energy beams tore through the void, but human drones intercepted many, colliding with alien ships in controlled explosions. Others were diverted by decoys, moving in unpredictable patterns that no alien could anticipate. Ryland's mind worked at lightning speed. Target the flagship's engine core. Heavy drones, follow my path. Timing must be perfect. One mistake, and we're finished. The horizon's edge surged forward, weaving through incoming fire. Each maneuver was calculated to draw the enemy in, to exploit gaps in their formation. Humans had something the aliens did not understand: unpredictability, and the ability to act without fear. The alien flagship fired again. This time, a massive wave of energy radiated outward, shaking the horizon's edge violently. Alarms blared. Crew members gripped consoles as sparks flew, and panels cracked under the stress. Yet, Ryland remained calm. He had survived worse in simulations, in wargames, and now, in reality, his mind was unbreakable. "Focus fire on their flankers," he ordered. "Draw attention away from the core. Drones, move fast." The human drones surged forward, evading energy blasts with impossible speed. They reached the flagship's rear engines, releasing concentrated disruptors that rattled the alien vessel violently. Sparks flew, hull plating buckled, and the alien telepath screamed in frustration. Their weapon, their ultimate creation, was faltering because humans refused to behave predictably. Kara's eyes widened. "They're weakening. The flagship, it's unstable." Ryland nodded, voice steady. "Good. Now, all weapons. Fire everything at once. Focus on the core. End this." The bridge erupted in controlled chaos. Turrets fired, drones collided with enemy ships, and beams of concentrated energy struck the flagship's heart. The massive vessel groaned, its hull glowing red-hot. Then, with a soundless explosion that sent fragments scattering into the void, the flagship shattered. Silence filled the bridge. The stars outside were calm once again, but the crew knew the battle was far from over. Smaller alien ships were still scattered across the void, confused and leaderless. The telepathic probe hovered nearby, weakly pulsing, transmitting disjointed warnings. Ryland turned to Kara. "They've lost their command structure. This is our chance. Strike now, but don't underestimate them. They will still fight." Kara nodded, determination returning to her eyes. "Weapons ready. Targeting alien ships in range." The humans moved as one. Energy beams lanced through space, drones darted like predators, and turrets fired with surgical precision. The alien fleet, disoriented and leaderless, fell apart under relentless human pressure. Every ship destroyed was a testament to human ingenuity, courage, and the refusal to be defeated. Even from afar, the telepathic probe seemed to sense the change. Fear now dominated the alien fleet. They had faced humans before, but never like this. Never a species capable of turning their greatest weapon against them with a combination of brains, courage, and unpredictability. Rylan allowed himself a small, rare smile. We've held them off again. But they will return. They always do. And when they do, his voice dropped, heavy with meaning. We will be ready. They will never know what hit them. The stars stretched endlessly, indifferent and cold. Yet in that void, humans had carved a small but undeniable truth. No matter how advanced, intelligent, or terrifying an enemy might be, humanity would survive. Humanity would fight. And humanity would prevail. The alien fleet began a hesitant retreat, leaving behind wreckage, confusion, and the silent realization that humans were no longer a species to be toyed with. They were dangerous, unbreakable, and now, fully aware of their own terrifying potential. On the horizon's edge, the crew exhaled as one. Rylan's eyes scanned the stars. The battle had been won, but the war was far from over. And somewhere, deep in the void, a new kind of fear was beginning to grow among the aliens. The fear of humans. The alien fleet had never faced such resistance. Their flagship was gone, their smaller vessels scattered, and their telepaths broken by the human mind's unpredictability. Yet they were not defeated, not yet. Captain Rylan knew this. Even now, as the stars stretched coldly beyond the viewport, he felt the weight of the battle's final phase approaching. Lieutenant Kara tapped her console, eyes wide. Sir, sensors are detecting massive reinforcements. Entire squadrons. Coming from the other side of the system. This isn't over. Rylan's jaw tightened. Good. Then we show them exactly why humans are dangerous. All stations, prepare for the final engagement. Focus, adapt, and remember what we've learned. The horizon's edge surged forward, engines humming with restrained power. Outside, alien squadrons emerged from the darkness, black shapes against the cold starlight. They moved with terrifying speed, intent on finishing what their first waves had failed to accomplish. But humans had an advantage they could not anticipate: intelligence, unpredictability, and a mind that could not be read. Sir, Kara said quietly, the new fleet, it's massive. If they hit together, they could destroy us instantly. Rylan's eyes narrowed. Then we divide them. Draw them into traps. Use their own numbers against them. That's how humans win. Outside, the alien ships advanced. The void became a deadly chessboard. Drones darted forward, decoys scattered, and energy beams cut through space in precise arcs. Every human maneuver was calculated, yet impossible to predict. The aliens faltered under the pressure, telepaths screaming in frustration as their coordinated attacks broke apart. Rylan's voice was calm, resolute. Focus fire on the command vessels. Drones, take the lead. Turrets, support. And remember, we fight with courage, not just weapons. The humans struck with surgical precision. Heavy drones collided with alien cruisers, detonating disruptors that crippled engines and shields. Turrets fired in perfect synchronization, cutting swaths through smaller fighters. The aliens had expected fear, expected panic, but humans did not break. They adapted, attacked, and survived, turning the enemy's strength against them. A massive energy pulse erupted from one of the alien command ships. Space itself seemed to warp as the beam cut toward the horizon's edge. The bridge shook violently. Crew members clung to consoles, bracing for impact. Rylan's eyes locked on the target. Evasive maneuvers, full throttle. Drones, intercept. Now. The horizon's edge twisted through the beam, narrowly avoiding annihilation. Drones surged forward, colliding with the alien ship and disrupting its firing sequence. The beam faltered, scattering harmlessly into space. Kara let out a shaky breath, and the bridge crew smiled, however briefly. But the humans were not finished. Rylan calculated the next strike, combining knowledge, intuition, and experience. Heavy drones, target the remaining command ships. Point defense, cover the flanks. We end this here, and we end it now. Explosions erupted across the void. Alien cruisers faltered and spun out of control. Smaller ships scattered, leaderless, confused, and terrified. One by one, the massive fleet fell apart, not because of sheer firepower, but because humans had turned the chaos of battle into a weapon of their own. Outside, the last surviving alien telepaths sent frantic pulses. They had underestimated humans, underestimated determination, ingenuity, and the mind that could not be broken. The message was clear: humans were not only survivors, they were apex predators in the galaxy. Ryland stood on the bridge, watching the remnants of the alien fleet retreat into the darkness. His crew exhaled as one, eyes weary but triumphant. Humanity had not just survived, it had dominated against impossible odds. Kara approached him, a mixture of relief and awe on her face. "Sir, we did it. We actually did it." Ryland shook his head slowly, a small smile forming. "No, they did not understand us. They never did. And they never will. Humans, we are unpredictable, unbreakable, and unstoppable when we fight together." The stars beyond the viewport were silent, indifferent, but humanity had left its mark. The alien fleet had learned a lesson that would echo across the galaxy. Never underestimate humans, never think they can be controlled, and never, ever invade their space expecting mercy. Ryland turned to his crew, voice steady and strong. "Today, we survived. Tomorrow, we thrive. And no matter what comes next, they will remember this day, the day humans fought, the day humans won, and the day they realized they could never truly understand us." Outside, in the cold void of space, the alien ships vanished, but the memory of what they had faced lingered. Humanity had shown its strength, intelligence, and courage. They had proven that no matter how advanced or terrifying an enemy might be, the human spirit could not be broken. And somewhere deep in the galaxy, the word spread among alien races: humans were not just another species, they were a force of nature. Captain Ryland exhaled, watching the stars, feeling the weight of both victory and responsibility. The war was far from over, but humanity had taken its first, undeniable step into a larger universe. A universe where humans were no longer just observers. They were the hunters. And the galaxy would never forget it.